Hi everyone, this is 8th grade Elevate Lesson 60 on writing equations from a given scenario. Today's learning is very similar to the learning that we've been doing over the past few days. What is different today is that we are now introduced to a new vocabulary word, which is coefficient, which is a number used to multiply a variable. Okay, so in 8y, the coefficient is the 8. It is the number that is directly next to the variable, okay? So it tells us that when writing equations from math scenarios, it helps to think about the following steps. We want to ask ourselves, what is the scenario about? Which variables will be used? And what do the variables represent? So here is an example here. It says a sales associate is given a $500 hiring bonus with their new job. Go sentence by sentence as you're reading these word problems so students are able to make sense of it, right? So when it says a $500 hiring bonus with their new job, there is no common math buzzword that students will think about to figure out if there's an operation that they can use. However, and students also may not have like jobs, they're not making salaries, they may not know what a hiring bonus is, so you'll have to explain to them the context of that. And once you explain, some students may be able to say, oh, this is something that you get in addition to whatever you're being paid on the regular. And so, okay, addition means that we're going to be doing some addition here, right? So bonus might be addition. So then from there, they earn an average commission of $250 per week. Okay. $250 per week. Okay. From the work that we've been doing over the past few days, we know that per indicates that we are multiplying, okay? How much do they earn over a certain period of weeks? The goal is to get to the equation. So we are going to use the 3 questions to figure it out. So it says, what is the scenario about? The scenario is about the amount a person earns at a new job, okay? So choose your variables. Which variable will you use? We are actually going to be using x and y in the form of y is equal to, so his money is equal to the formula, right? Then it says divine your variables. What do the variables represent? So x is the certain period of weeks worked, and then y is the amount earned after working a certain number of weeks. So the equation then becomes he earns $250 per week, so 250x, plus an additional $500. We talked about that being his bonus, right? So if he were to work 10 weeks, that x will then be substituted, that 10 will then be substituted for x. And so that means that he would make $2,500 plus an additional $500, giving him a total of $3,000. So from there, you are going to spend 6 minutes modeling questions 1 and 2. Students may struggle writing the equation only because there are different types of equations that are being written. And so we want to make sure that students at least understand this, they understand this, and they understand this. Okay, so it says a large pizza at Papa's Pizzeria costs $16.80 plus 90 cents for each topping. How much will it cost? So we're talking about pizza and toppings. We are actually going to use our x and y variables. X is going to give us our total cost, and y is going to give us our topping cost. Well, actually, let's switch this. Y is going to give us our total, and x is going to give us our topping cost. So in this equation, we have y is equal to, the pizza costs $16.80 flat. But then you want an additional topping of pepperoni. We're going to plug in a 1 here, right? But let's say I want pepperoni and cheese. Then pepperoni and sausage. Now I'm going to plug in the number 2 here to be able to solve. Let's say I want pepperoni, sausage, and onions. That's going to be 3 that I'm going to plug into that space, okay? So that's why this formula works. Now let's look at question 2. It says last week Mike sold 6 more than 3 times the number of books that he sold this week. Notice that when I am solving these problems, I am writing the operations that I'm seeing using my math buzzwords, right? So last week Mike sold 6 more than 3 times the amount of books that he sold this week. How many did he sell last week? So we're talking about books sold. We are going to be using X and Y. X will be the books this week, and Y will be the books last week. So we're doing Y is equal to 3X, right? Because we had 3 times, and then we had to add 6. So from there, we're going to do partner practice. Questions 3 and 4 before launching students to their exit ticket, which is question 5. 4 questions, 4 points. And then for their exit ticket, they are dividing fractions because they have to do keep, change, flip for each of these questions, or they have to multiply by the reciprocal for each of these questions. Please just choose 1 column or 2 columns that you want to prioritize them working on for the 4 minutes before you go into your review for the last minute.